Attention!
Welcome to the Film Mages Podcast, where the popcorn is our ammunition, the couch is our foxhole, and the cinema is our place of worship.
Now let me see your war face. Ah!
Oh my gosh, I am feeling love in the air.
You're feeling love in the air?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
love
because
in
we're
the
on the
air.
same side of the table now.
That's true.
It's
hey,
our new setup, and
hello.
we love it.
Hello, everybody. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day.
Yeah! Hope it was nice.
Oh, is this coming out after Valentine's Day?
Yes,
it's
because that was
Fuck
3 days
Valentine's
ago.
Day.
All right. Coming in hot.
Oh, it's hot. Valentine's Day was
I'm about
actually
to see
2
it.
days ago
That's,
from when this is
that's
coming
true.
out.
What did you do for Valentine's Day, y'all?
I went out to dinner with my lovely girlfriend, is what happened.
Lovely.
And it's definitely already happened.
Yep. We are not
We're
recording
not
this
recording
in the past.
mere
Yeah,
days
I-
after recording Boys in the Hood.
Nope.
Yeah, 2 days before Valentine's Day, I definitely went to a fancy dinner all dressed up with my sister because we waited till the last second to get reservations for Valentine's Day and therefore
Right.
couldn't get reservations on Valentine's Day.
Sad.
That sounds good.
You know,
Cool.
bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada
cares?
boom.
Bada
You know,
boom.
this Valentine's Day, I tried something new. I instead of going out because I'm just so fucking tired of getting reservations at a restaurant I've read is good and then paying too much money for it. I cooked.
You cooked.
Do you do
I
that
stayed
often?
in
I was
and I
thinking
cooked a meal.
about cooking this time. By the way,
Yeah.
hello everyone. Welcome to the Film Majors. I'm Zach.
I'm Mick.
I'm Alexis.
So Mick, you're not going out. What's going on?
There it is.
Yeah, I'm not letting him get it again. He keeps getting it. He's
I
been
do.
getting
I
it a lot.
was
recently.
really considering trying, but you know, I'm just
No.
a slow little mo.
You're so purple. There's so much purple happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of purple happening in
You
Alexa's
got a
image,
purple
which
bottle,
you can see.
a purple blanket, a purple sweatshirt, a purple wall. She's a flying, one-eyed, flying purple people eater.
Oh, good
One-eyed,
know-
one-horned.
Good setup, man.
My professor, my teacher for U.S. government in senior year of high school used to call me Professor Plum because I used to wear this purple cardigan
right.
to
I think
class
you've mentioned
quite
that.
a lot.
You have mentioned
You've
that because we
mentioned
were
that.
like,
I have mentioned
Alexis
that.
is the horny Christopher Lloyd of this podcast.
Exactly, Professor Plum.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Oh man, I should watch Clue
Speaking
again.
of
What a
speaking
fucking
of
good
horny,
movie.
I was
Clue's
scrolling
such a
through
good
my
one.
notes on my phone. Have you ever scrolled through your
Okay.
notes on your phone and find an old note
Yes.
with zero context?
Yes.
So I found in all caps, considering our time, and then can we commit to just having everyone wet?
That had to have been written during this podcast.
It wasn't. No, this was. I remember this was actually
Please
written.
tell me it wasn't at work.
It was at work.
Oh no.
Because
course.
it was when I was first ADing, and there was a scene where we had to get all the actors wet, which is less funny. If you don't know that without context, it's pretty funny. So,
Wow.
yeah, I just wanted to share that little experience. Do we
Well,
have enough time to get everyone wet? So, folks, speaking of getting wet, have any of us
Sure.
seen any good movies lately?
You know, I have seen some movies lately. I'm just looking at my notes now, and it just says, soak breadcrumbs in milk for meatball. No additional text.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen some films. I watched Princess Mononoke for the first time.
Oh, that's right. I loved watching how bored you were with that.
There's just something wrong with me. There's something, I
Yeah.
recognize that at this point, it's not a, because whenever I'm watching a Miyazaki movie, I'm never having the experience of like, I think this is bad, because I
Right.
don't.
Yep.
It's good. It's really good. It's like masterfully made.
Yep.
There's just like, there's an emotional connection for me that just isn't there, and like, I'm a broken man at this point. Like, it's rare that I have the experience of like watching a movie and not really being into it and just firmly knowing that the problem is with me. That was
Zach,
my...
you know how I was like, I'm going to get you a plaque that said, Zach was so right 2023 for what you did for me?
Hey, listen, that was 2023. 2024 is a whole new year.
No. I'm just saying that really cherish that award when I give it to you because based on the shit that you tell me often, I don't know if you ever will get a plaque like that for me for
Wait
the
a minute.
rest of your life.
What's the plaque for? What did you do?
We gonna put that on the air?
Yeah, let's do it.
No.
No? Okay.
Oh, was it for...
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, damn. I'm sure the listeners are like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, and you'll never know.
You'll
unless
never
you
know.
do.
You will never know.
So,
It's really raunchy, listeners.
it's not
So
that
raunchy
No, it's-
because I
it's-
am the horny Christopher Lloyd, right?
Yeah.
That is true.
It's
Oh my
Professor
God.
Plum.
Yeah, on your,
Juicy.
On your Rizzler shit once again.
Dripping
I'm that
juice.
juicy Professor Plum.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
What were we talking about just now?
Princess Mononoke.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I'm
like,
heartbroken.
Listen, I was fully, ready to enjoy it. I have heard that this would probably be the Miyazaki movie that I like the most.
I think I was the one that said that.
Yeah, not just you. I've had other people. Past and future guest Jake Sabat was also, talking to me about how he tends to feel similarly to me about Miyazaki movies, but he was like, Princess Mononoke, that's the one I really fuck with.
Yeah. It's my favorite. I've said that before.
Yeah, I don't know. I think story-wise I enjoyed it more, but it didn't have enough weird little guys.
It had plenty. What are you talking about?
But they're less quirky. I feel like...
That's not even your problem with it. You said it's just too soft.
It is a little soft, but...
What do you mean
Ultimate-
it's too soft?
It's a little soft.
It's like...
let's all be friends at the end.
No. It's like, it's just so delicate. Like the piano music.
It's
It's just...
It's very tender.
It's very pleasant.
Yeah.
As in, it could lull you to a fine nap.
Okay. So when I posted on my story the pick 5 A24 films, and I picked, what was it?
The ones that made you
Lives.
cry. Yeah.
Yeah, all the ones that make you cry and make you sad and make you think about family and trauma and
then
shit like that.
I picked
And then
The
you picked-
Lighthouse, Uncut Gems, Good Time, Hereditary, and The Witch.
Yeah. Those are good picks. I'm more in your camp, Zach, with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fine and that's fair. It just hurts my heart to hear you talk about Princess Mononoke like that.
It's a good movie. I know the problems
I'm
with
crying.
me. I know the problem is deep down within myself. I recognize that.
I would say that Miyazaki films I do enjoy, I do appreciate. I don't usually put them on, but the way you felt about Mononoke, it's kind of how I felt with Ponyo, where I'm
Okay.
like, this is a beautiful film, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll have a second chance at Miyazaki if I ever have a kid someday. I feel like
Lord help us.
if I ever spawn.
Yikes.
Anyways, I feel like that would be the context where I could really take another crack at genuinely getting kind of emotionally invested in Miyazaki movies, is if I was seeing them through the eyes of a child.
Let me get this straight. So you're saying that if the only chance for you to enjoy a Miyazaki film, which are generally agreed to be masterpieces, is for you to have your spawn grow to a human being.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to have a kid. So you need to have a kid first.
I need to have a kid to enjoy Miyazaki.
All right.
That's the reason to have a child.
All right. Let's check.
You know what it is, Zach?
Just
The
wanted to-
child never died in me. So
Must be nice.
that's all I need.
Must be
That's all
fucking
I
nice.
need, baby. Yeah, it is.
I don't know. Hold on. Did the child die in you, Zach?
It's a little dead.
No, is it though?
It's blunted.
Okay. I don't know if I agree with that actually, from an external perspective.
Okay.
On yourself.
Wow.
I think there is some childlike wonder in you.
And
that's a compliment.
I'd love to find
I do
more
think
of it.
so. That I think that's true as well.
I would love to find more of it.
I would say your childlike wonder is stemmed mostly from things like, I don't know, like when you watch Fugitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there it is. You're giggling like an old man-child right now. So,
anyways, but
wait,
my
Alexis,
child,
hold on.
like
What's
wonder.
wrong with Fugitive? What's wrong with Fugitive? She just rolled her eyes, listeners. What's going on
Alexis,
with
have
that?
you seen it?
No,
Like-
I've not seen Fugitive.
we'll get on it.
It's not about Fugitive. It's it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna have to have a side piece section of this podcast where I can plainly just talk about children's movies with other people who like children's movies, because you guys are
We're not
always
the
bringing down
audience.
the vibe. You guys are not the audience for that. Jacoby made me a poster for Princess Mononoke, and I'm literally going to post that up in my house. Fuck you guys.
Well, yeah, we're not children. So,
Yeah, we're not baby brained.
It's We're not the
I
audience
just
for
want to be a
children's
baby
film.
forever.
Too bad.
Okay, now that's bringing down the vibe.
Okay,
that's
no, but
Is that bringing down the vibe?
Yes.
Bringing down the house.
Okay, but
terrible.
connecting back to my night where I watched Princess Mononoke.
Did you like
Great.
it?
That was fine. Anyways, the childlike wonder in me died even more when I watched Little Nicky. Which
That's
just,
so funny. I haven't seen that movie in
disgusting.
so long.
I've
never seen it, and I never will.
I will say that Little Nicky, if you're going to watch a Happy Madison movie, is kind of one of the more interesting ones to watch because it is one of the few Adam Sandler written movies. Yeah, nice. Mick's making a Sandler face.
Am I? Is that what that was?
Kinda. That I
interesting.
would. Anyways, it's one of the few movies that Adam Sandler had a hand in writing that I would consider to be ambitious. Ambitious does not mean good, because it is not. But it is at least like taking big creative swings, and did get like a couple big belly laughs out of me. But in general, it fucking
Is that
sucks.
like a 2002, 2003 movie?
2000, same year as the movie we're talking about
2000.
today.
You know, honestly, kind of ahead of his time. He had the swoopy little emo hair thing going on before that really became like big. So I'm just saying, okay?
Alexis, are you
It's a
down for
design
Little Nicky?
No, of course not. I did like that movie as a child,
for
though.
Little Nicky?
I was like 6 when I saw that movie for the first time. I'm not saying that I liked Little Nicky, but I kind of, I don't know, I think I thought the movie was funny when I was a kid, but like, probably, I don't think I would find it funny now.
I think this is going to be the first episode I just don't listen to. You know, okay, here's the thing. I like Adam Sandler as an actor when he's not doing a fucking Happy Madison movie. The only one I'll watch is 50 First Dates. Everything else is trash.
What about The Wedding Singer?
Wedding Singer? Okay, you know what? Yes, Wedding Singer's good. 50 First Dates is good.
What
But
about
everything
Billy
else,
Madison?
I've never seen it, won't.
Billy Madison's kind of fun.
I'm
It's
not
got Norm
into it.
Macdonald in it.
I just don't. God.
I thought
awful.
Blended wasn't total trash. Like,
I
I liked it enough, but I
missed
think that is
Blended.
Can't do it.
because him and Drew Barrymore are my favorite, like, rom-com couples.
Yeah. Anyways, that was
I'm just so sad right now. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's how I felt after. Again, I
awful.
said that Little Nicky like blunted my childlike joy. It killed me more.
So they were watching it in the apartment, and I was doing studies. I'll just say that in my room.
Jacking off.
No. Well,
I'm sure.
Anyways, so I kept hearing clips I just kept hearing bits of Little Nicky, a movie I've never seen. Again, never will. And just what I was hearing was like I wanted to claw my ears out. I can't hang.
Yeah.
I just can't hang with that.
It's bad. I'm not going to
It's
sugarcoat
insane.
it. It sucks.
And the weird thing is, like, I looked it up, and the premise seems interesting.
Yeah,
like, that seems
that's-
like kind of a cool premise. But then
It
you
is.
put Little Nicky in his stupid fucking hair and his puffy trench coat and that
You don't
voice.
love the coat? I thought that was a fit.
Alexis, just stop. Just stop talking. You're digging a hole. You're digging a hole of hell where Little Nicky comes from. Let's move on from Little Nicky.
Yeah, no, it's a movie that I would consider to be directed by the devil. What did you guys watch? Enough about me.
Well, okay, I watched a movie that you also watched off of a recommendation from my lovely, lovely friend Brooke. A 2023 horror film directed by Laura Moss, Birth, Rebirth.
Pretty fun.
It was pretty good. It's basically a retelling of the Frankenstein monster tale, yet despite it being a retelling of that, it felt entirely original. I really liked it. It wasn't as, I like my horror films, I can have them be slow and I'll still enjoy it, but generally I like to have some intensity within them, and this didn't quite have that, but the ending has I don't even know if you can call it a twist. It's more of a reveal that I somehow didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Which was really well done. It really fucking, again, your movie can be like pretty good And then if it ends with a strong ending, you have a better chance of people thinking like, wow, okay, that was good. You know, if you leave a really good taste in their mouth. But I really like the ending. Maureen Ireland, who plays Rose, who you pointed out is from...
she's in The Empty Man.
Which is a good sign. She was great. She was really great. Like as a kind of like a ethically muddled character... towards, at least that's how she's presented.
You know who she's...
Her performance was amazing.
This movie kind of reminds me of Reanimator.
Okay,
and she is the Herbert West.
That's a really good connection.
It's not as funny as Reanimator, because Reanimator is a fucking hoot.
Birth Rebirth isn't trying to be funny, but it has some funny bits in it. It does have some funny
bits, and I think that Marin Ireland's performance has a lot in common with Jeffrey Combs in Reanimator, just that like weird sort of stilted quality.
It's almost like... It's kind of like autism a little bit, where like to them makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Why are you?
Which it does kind of.
Yeah,
in
like
a way.
No, she does make sense.
It's just like the social norms.
Her social cues are different.
Yeah. And I really love characters like that. I love it when a character is like kind of weirding me out, but then I think about it. I'm like, you know what though?
You're okay.
You're kind of right.
You're all right.
You're right.
I like you.
In an interesting way.
Yeah, I'd like to get dinner with her.
Okay.
I can fix it.
What is with you with fixing these, you know, I'll admit, hot women, but like they're a little. Another one is Pearl.
Yeah, I can fix her.
And then Gone Girl.
Yeah,
Rosamund Pike from Gone Girl.
She can do that.
You can fix her.
No, I don't want to fix her. I want her to do that to me.
What's another? You know who? Ooh, okay. What about the woman from Lair of the White Room?
Hot.
The serpent, right?
Yep.
Hot.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think it's because like I like live a like normal, somewhat well-adjusted life and have a very kind and supportive partner. So my fictional fictional tastes can be way more fucked up.
Right. So
because my life is nice and stable and I enjoy it.
If you desire something really stable and really lovely, then you know your real love life is you're dating the serpent from Lair of the White Room.
Yep.
Pretty cool. So yeah, Birth, Rebirth.
I don't want to hear that.
Birth, Rebirth, pretty good watch. If you like horror, you should check it out, especially because it's directed by a woman, it stars all women, and it's very much from the female perspective and horrors of maternity and stuff like that. So it's a fascinating topic. So check it out. Did I see anything else? Alexis, did you watch anything?
I watched 3 movies this week.
Okay,
what'd you see? The movie that we're covering.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
I finally finished They Cloned Tyrone.
Oh, what'd you think?
Okay.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, I actually got one of my castmates from the play to also watch it because they said that they like sci-fi stuff, and I was like, oh, I had started They Cloned Tyrone, and I was like, oh, watch this movie, right? And then they texted me like the next day, and they were like, you tricked me. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, you said this was a sci-fi, but it was actually much more provocative than that. And I was like, hee hee.
It is a sci-fi movie.
I loved the trio of Yo-Yo, Slick Charles, and Fontaine. John Boyega, I think it's Teyonah Parris, and Jamie Foxx had really fucking good chemistry as like a little crime-fighting duo. I really loved Yo-Yo. I loved her character. In the third act, it really got some like solid like laughs out of me. So it was kind of zany. I think it could have had like a stronger kind of ending. I think I was kind of left a little unsatisfied with just how it just kind of ended in a way. And it was very open-ended, but I really enjoyed it overall.
Yeah.
I should watch it.
I enjoy it. I definitely feel like I should have enjoyed it more because it's got like a great cast and a really fun premise. I think if I remember correctly, my kind of problem with that movie is that it's like quasi trying to ape the look of like a 70s movie, and ultimately just kind of looks like a Netflix movie. I remember not really liking the look of it.
I don't think I felt that, but maybe I just wasn't really thinking of it in terms of a 70s movie. I don't know. I think I was looking a lot less at the design of the world, and I'm not sure that I really saw that. I think it was just the characters were just so fun.
The characters are very fun.
Is it a contemporary film? Does it take place
Yes, it came out last year.
Yeah.
No, it's set in... Isn't it set in the past?
Yeah, that was my question. When does it take place?
I'm not sure, but they have cell phones, so it has to at least be in the 2000. I think it's contemporary.
Okay, it's probably contemporary. It just, I don't know, it has that, like, look of, like... I don't know. I think
Is it like trying to go for Grindhouse?
It felt like it was kind of trying to go for something a little grimier and...
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it totally got there. Essentially, I didn't really like the camera work in the movie, is what I'm saying of this movie that I watched, at this point, probably more than 6 months ago. So there are some.
So what you're saying is you have nothing to add to this.
The movie actually came out, I believe,
you
the
haven't
same
seen it.
weekend.
Fuck off.
You got
Oh my
nothing.
god. I think the movie actually came out the same weekend as Barbenheimer. Or
That sounds right.
right around that time. So
Yeah. All right, well, what else did you see, Alexis?
I also fucking watched Paprika.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh my god, that was bananas. I fucking loved that movie. If it weren't for the fact that, like, it's low-key it's kind of fat-phobic in some ways, it would have been a 5-star movie. I was just like, God, they just hate fat people or something. I don't know. Good Lord. But other than, the rhetoric of that, which is very interesting. Zach, have you seen it?
No, but I really want to.
Okay, then I can't really say. So the ending of it kind of made me feel not bad, but feel better about, I guess, the rhetoric that kind of had throughout. Well, this guy who's a bigger guy, he is like one of the geniuses behind this like dream machine kind of thing. And, they're always poking fun at him. And I just didn't love it. But the mind of this guy, Satoshi Kon, we watched his Perfect Blue all together and we reviewed that for my animation month.
Really liked Perfect Blue.
Yeah, I think you'd really like Paprika. I really, really highly suggest it. I actually saw it in theaters the other night because Regal was doing like this, I don't know, Satoshi Kon event or whatever. And oh my god, that was crazy. That was crazy to have seen in theaters, and I'm so glad that I watched it there for the first time. You guys probably would be fine because you guys have that really nice TV in your front room. But I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much on the smaller screen that I have here at my mom's house. So
Fair.
I'm really glad that I saw it in theaters, and it's just wild. And I know that like part of Christopher Nolan's Inception, like certain scenes are kind of based from this film.
Oh, that's the movie.
Yeah, there's like a couple of scenes that are riffing on Paprika.
It's where she puts her hand up to the mirror and then it shatters, right?
Something similar to that, and then also the scene where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in like the hallway of the hotel area,
So fucking
and
cool.
then the walls kind of start, turning. Is kind of a riff on part of that part of the dream sequence. So basically, like the premise is that there's these dream machines that you can use to get into people's dreams, and they're originally intended to be used for like psychological services, to help people with like depression or anxiety or something that's like mentally blocking them. But somebody steals a few of them and starts to kind of pervert the dream landscape, and then people's dreams start to merge together in this like really weird thing. And so like you spend a lot of time in the dreamscape past the halfway point of the movie, and it's just really impressive that he can navigate the dream landscape so well, because it's like how you have a dream where things just bleed into to the next. Suddenly you're a different character, suddenly you're in a different setting, and the characters just roll with those punches. And I really, really liked it. It is pretty dark, as most of his movies kind of have this dark tinge to them.
Cool.
There's literally this part where a guy like reaches his hand into this woman, like almost like into her vagina, it looks like, but like into her body, because they're in the dream landscape, and like pushes all the way into like where her head is and rips off her like dream persona's like face.
Whoa.
That was, and I saw that and I was like, whoa.
That's cool.
That's
so
sick
it's
as fuck.
pretty psychedelic, right? Is it like kind of like Fantastic Planet a little bit? In regards to like the wacky visuals and stuff, or is it a bit more grounded?
I mean, when they're in there's this certain section of the dream landscape that is pretty weird. It's got a bunch of dolls and shit. It's really hard to describe. This is not a movie that is easy to describe, to be honest.
It's one you gotta see.
Yeah.
You just gotta watch it. And I would say that it's my favorite of all of the movies that I've seen of his, and this is the third one that I've seen. So.
Who is it?
Satoshi Kon.
Satoshi Kon. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what else did you see, Alexis? Let's get this pump up pumping.
I saw Ava DuVernay's new movie, Origin, and this is the best movie that I've seen all year so far.
Fuck yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Best movie you've seen all year?
Yeah.
In a year where you've seen Black Dynamite.
This is the best new movie
there it is.
I've seen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, best new movie. I mean,
I tried to find a copy of Black Dynamite this week.
Alexis, just so you know, listeners, Alexis hit up our group chat, I don't know, a few days ago, and asked if either of us have seen Origin. And can I read your text?
Sure.
I don't say this often, but this movie is actually required viewing. First 5-star rating of the year, and it had me and my sister in puddles for the whole duration. Ava DuVernay is in top fucking form with it. Now, when you said I was in puddles, top form, I was like, okay, I definitely want to watch this, especially because we're in Black Cinema. But the one thought that was running through my head was Iron Claw. That was a movie that everyone fucking said they're going to pour your eyes out. It's so fucking good, and I thought it didn't hit me as hard. This is a completely different story. Origin, oh my God. Oh my God. I wrote in my review that I have not, hard sobbed this hard at a film since Atonement, which was really embarrassing because I was in a theater this time, so I had to, fucking push that shit down and not be true to my emotions. But yeah, Alexis, what did you think?
You know, just as a quick side note, me and my sister, when we finished the movie and we were getting tacos and eating, she was like, yeah, I really thought that at some point, I was going to start making noises because I was crying so hard. And I was like, me too, Natalie. I was there were a few times where I was really trying to hold it together because I just wanted to I was starting to hyperventilate. I was almost sobbing. She's so good. Ava DuVernay is so good at making, what should be everybody's problem, right? Which is the film is about caste systems. That really what is going on in America isn't really about race, because the type of oppression that happens here happens in other countries, and other countries they don't necessarily have the same demographics that we do. Different races. Everybody's the same race, but there's still this type of oppression that happens, right? And so the story is about Isabel Wilkerson, who wrote the book Caste, and this book came out in, I believe, 2020, and the movie's just kind of about her journey and in learning and researching about this film, but also her personal journey of losing 3 people who were very close to her during this time. And it's wild because I even knew going into the film that she had lost 3 people close to her during this, and so I was pre-prepared with this knowledge, and it still fucking hit me really hard. Ava just is so good at making things personal to you. There was this section in the movie where between her husband and her mom, somebody's always helping her find her keys. And you can see her struggling, now that they're not around, to find her keys. But you see all these little moments of somebody found that they had found it for her at this time, And or this moment where she puts on the watch, I think, that her husband used to wear. And just all these little moments of grief that really makes it personal for you. And then also, I mean, doing this type of research could be boring. It's kind of like the same thing in Oppenheimer at the very beginning, where it's like, doing all this schoolwork could be boring, but with editing and, taking it in a different visual direction, you can make it really interesting. And Ava kind of does the same thing, where it's like she uses inserts like, Mick, how would you say this? Like the little sections of like kind of historical recreations of some of this research?
I would just call it a flashback. That's really what it is. Yeah,
kind of like flashbacks to these time periods that she's like doing research on. And they're so powerful. They really are. Yeah. And like the part where in Germany people burned the night that they burned all the books of Jewish authors. And then you see the actual monument in Germany where you can look down and it's just like a big white room with empty bookshelves to represent all the loss of like knowledge and voices of, thousands and thousands of people. It's just really fucking good.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you summarized it pretty well there. It's you know what? I've seen a lot of people give interesting reactions to it. A lot of people are giving this 1 star. A lot of people are giving it 2 stars. Like, it's kind of all over the place. So I'm curious to see, for other people that want to watch it, you really fucking should. I'm curious to see how you respond to it, because people are kind of saying that it's extremely it's like overly sentimental. It is, it's extremely didactic, which I agree.
What's
it is didactic, but it means like it's like a lecture, like a moral lecture that takes a stance.
You might call the Furious Styles scene where he talks about gentrification. You could describe that scene as didactic.
It's teaching the audience a particular stance. Well, I was going to say I liked the lecture. I would agree. Yes, it is didactic, but you know what? I fucking loved it. It was like I sat in a study hall and the professor was giving me a lecture that was incredibly cohesive, incredibly compelling, and incredibly powerful. I mean, what I loved about this story is that it spans generations and it spans continents, and it is such a celebration of literature and ideas and courage, and it's also a scathing indictment of the institutions that put us into compartments. I just thought it was really, really, really beautiful.
Did they have the the pre-recorded Q&A at the end? No?
Well,
okay.
At the very, very end?
At the very, very end.
I didn't say
it's just that. Ava answering. She just talks about her lead, Ajahnay Ellis Taylor.
Yes.
I maybe I messed up her first name. I'm not sure.
I think
but
that's
she's incredible in it,
and it is incredible.
She was just talking about how hard it is to like do a role like that, where a lot of times you're not doing anything big. You're doing a lot of little movements, a lot of little. Like you're listening a lot to somebody, you're researching, so, but one of the things that I really, really enjoyed was she told, the older man towards the end during the Al Bright scene, the little boy with the swimming pool. So the older man who is narrating that, right? People keep asking her like, "Oh, is that the guy? Is that the guy? Did he really know Al?" And she says, "No. He was background, apparently." And I guess the day that they were shooting the scene, he had gone up to Ava and had talked to her, and he said, I feel like I know this story, like something very similar happened to me when I was younger, like that I experienced. And like, she talked to him about it for a little bit, and then she was like, how would you feel about telling this part of the story? And like literally just gave him like the sides for that scene, and she just had him sit with the lead and just talk to her, and she just said that like, so the emotion that he's feeling is very real because he's talking as the narrator, but also like using his experience in his own life for it. But he was just background, like he wasn't hired to do that role or anything.
That's cool.
And that she said she just like felt like magic happen,
Yeah.
and And I was like, oh, that makes me so happy. I love hearing stories like that where it's like something wasn't planned, but, you know, they're able to pivot and see something that could be beautiful in trying something new, and for that magic of filmmaking to just happen. Yeah.
I'm also glad that you brought up Oppenheimer, because that was 1000% the movie I was thinking of. That and American Fiction. American Fiction and Oppenheimer both came up to me while watching Origin, because, you know, Christopher Nolan adapted American Prometheus, the book, into a movie. Ava DuVernay, she adapted Isabella's book, Cast, The Origin of Our Discontents, but also Isabella's story. So it's like, it's not only is it her book that's being adapted, it's also her. So I thought that was super cool. John Bernthal gives a good performance.
Yes.
Love Bernthal.
He
I'm a
gives a
fucking
really-
sucker for
I was
Bernthal.
so fucking bummed.
He's never played a character like this before either, and he nailed it.
Talk about a guy who has the fucking juice.
He's great.
John Bernthal
Yeah.
is routinely good in every single thing I've ever seen him in.
Yeah.
I love that
He
guy.
was
And-
so fucking sweet in this film. I really, really loved him as her husband.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a certain aspect of the film that it opens with and then kind of closes with that a lot of people are saying that it's deeply exploitative. I don't agree.
I don't think so, but
I don't agree. I think they're kind of misinterpreting it. So check it out. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, listeners. But yeah, fucking hell. With Promised Land and Origin, fucking 2024 is off to a amazing start. Good God.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, this has been a long what's going on. We got to hop out of it.
A lot's been happening.
Alexis, any final thoughts?
Go see the movie, please. Thank you.
All right, let's hop out of what's going on.
Well, folks, we're back. How you doing?
Oh, God. That's an interesting energy to come in
We're
with.
coming to you live from Oracle Park here.
I don't like
Wow,
that
Mick,
at all.
I really just saw somebody hit it out of the park. How's it been going for you over there?
Well, by golly, Alexis, it's doing really good here.
I
The
don't
Giants
like it.
are up in the
I don't
first
like it when
inning.
you two team up. I don't like it. All right.
Why are we talking like we're in a sports arena right now,
before
Zach?
we do that, this is our third episode of Black Cinema Month,
Well, by golly, Zach, you're right.
and we are heading into our big topic. And we're doing a kind of broad one today, and it's something that we fucking limp-wristed dorks rarely talk about on this podcast, which is our favorite sports films.
Take me out to the ball.
Yeah, that's why Mick is talking like that. Are you going to pick a baseball?
Well, I do
one?
love A League of Her
Maybe.
Own.
Oh, there you go. There's one right there.
Yeah.
There's no crying in baseball. Sorry, I had to.
I've never seen all of A League of Their Own.
I grew up watching that movie quite a lot. My dad loves
same.
that movie.
My mom loves that movie.
My dad loves that movie. I've just never seen it.
You should watch
know
it.
what's
It's such
so-
a good movie.
You know what, though?
Madonna's in it.
My dad definitely used that line on us growing up when we were playing soccer. There's no
yeah.
crying in soccer.
Yeah. I actually, when I also played soccer, and I would cry, and my dad would go, "There's no crying in baseball," and everyone would look at him confused, like, "Dude, you know what sport this is? Fucking idiot."
Dumb.
Tom Hanks, you are not. Love you, Dad. So A League of Their Own, honestly, I did not think of that, but that's a really, really great pick. Gina Davis, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You even get who's been going through
Randomly
kind
Madonna, isn't it?
randomly Madonna, but also, you know who's been going through a weird, like, internet renaissance of daddyism is Bill Pullman.
Rosie.
I mean, and rightfully so.
Yeah, everyone is kind
Is
of
it Bill
thirsting
Pullman?
after this guy.
Bill Pullman of Independence Day fame.
The president of
Is
Bill
he,
Pullman, who
does he
delivers
play
the best
her
speech of all
husband
time.
at the end?
Yes, he's the one that returns from the war.
Boo.
Oh, don't boo Bill Pullman. How dare you?
But, like, I hate that they're kind of right. Like,
Yeah,
but I've never
course they're
thought of
right.
it that way
Yeah,
before.
Bill Pullman's a snack.
He's kind of goated in
he?
sweater vest sauce.
Yeah, he's Meg Ryan's wet blanket boyfriend in Sleepless in Seattle.
That's right, where he has every
He's
known
allergic to everything.
allergy known to man. He
Yeah.
also plays a deputy from Fish and Wildlife in the classic Lake Placid.
We got to watch that this year. I got to watch Lake Placid
I like
with you.
Lake
I really
Placid.
want to see it.
Yeah.
So, Mick, sports films. What are you thinking?
Okay, so some of my favorite sports movies. Here, you know what's kind of fun about sports is they are inherently kind of cinematic. Usually you get a ticking clock.
Yeah.
Inherently put into it with a game. You have these really beautiful movements and triumphant moments that can often be played in slow motion.
Yeah, and usually attractive athletic people.
That's right. So that brings me to dodgeball. Attractive people, slow motion. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Everything comes back to dodgeball.
Honestly,
oh my God.
I know you don't like it, Zach.
Well, again, talk about movies that I missed the boat. That is a movie where I'm sure if I watched it when I was a kid, I would have a lot of fun.
Helen Mirren's favorite film, Dodgeball, is a
to be honest,
classic.
I mean, yeah, it's one of my favorites. Even if parts of it hasn't aged well, you know, L for Love, guys, I love y'all. The Iron Claw also counts as a sports movie.
That's true.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a really good sports film.
You know what I think is a great sports film?
Is it Rocky?
Well, that is a great sports film, but no, A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's
I
Tale.
have not seen that.
That might be another one where it's like if you didn't watch it growing up, it might not have the same sauce for you.
I think I was just really tired when he showed me.
I fucking love A Knight's Tale. That is like transposing the tropes of a like classic underdog sports movie onto medieval jousting. I think that's just like, it's such a genius concept, and I think it works really well. I love the cast of that movie, and like, yeah, you've got like your big triumphant sports moments, you know, our lead character, William, played by Heath Ledger, he's doing great in the sword contest.
You got Paul Bettany in there.
He has to win the joust against the villainous Rufus Sewell, who's a great bad guy in movies. I really love that movie, and I have a lot of fondness for it and nostalgia for it, and also, I mean, Heath Ledger, the GOAT, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
So that's a great sports movie. And then zagging a little bit, a movie that is technically kind of a sports film.
Are you going to zag before you zig?
I zigged and now I'm zagging. Don't worry. Uncut Gems is a little bit... It is not necessarily a movie that is depicting a lot of sports, but sports are integral to that movie and are layered throughout.
Okay, but
like that is a movie bookended. That's a movie bookended by basketball games.
You could argue that
features a famous basketball player.
You could argue that Uncut Gems is a sports film the same way the Naked Gun is a sports film. It's pivotal on a baseball game. Like the whole point of the culmination of the movie is a baseball game.
But baseball isn't really intermingled throughout the movie in the same way that basketball is central to the entirety of Uncut Gems.
Yeah,
literally,
it's not a sports film.
The supporting character in Uncut Gems is fucking Kevin Garnett. Like,
yeah, but that's not a sports movie.
It's sports. It's very much indebted to sports.
It's a sports adjacent film.
I would consider it to be a sports focused film.
It's a sports adjacent film. Alexis, you have one?
It's a film about sports.
I think it's adjacent.
Honorable mentions. One to Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Nice, adjacent, nice.
Van Damme.
Sports,
and then Cool Runnings, the 1993 film that is about the Jamaican bobsled team.
With John Candy. Yes.
With John Candy. Me and Mick were talking about John Candy the other day.
You guys have a candy
I remember watching that as a kid and just thinking they were funny. I don't know. I don't really remember quite a lot of it, but I remembered one of my family's favorite movies, and it's my dad's favorite movie, The Cutting Edge, and it is one of the only figure skating movies that I think that I've really ever seen.
Oh, have you seen The Ice Princess?
Oh, Ice Princess? Yes, actually I have.
That's a figure skating movie.
I like Blades of Glory.
I liked that movie growing up, but I still really love The Cutting Edge because it is also a romance film about two people she's a figure skater and he's a hockey player. He messes up his eye and then he's not able to do hockey anymore, and she's kind of a cunt and can't really keep a partner in pair skating.
Jesus.
So she's looking for a partner.
Zach, it's okay.
And
she
literally
so
say like
hard
she's
against this woman.
They in the movie they literally say like she's such a heinous bitch that like no one wants to work with her anymore. Pretty much like she's gone through every possible partner for pairs.
If this was England, Alexis calling her a cunt could almost be seen as a compliment.
That might be a compliment, yeah.
So it depends on what region you're in.
It threw me.
Hey.
Hello to our Australian listeners.
She's a little prissy for my taste, but honestly, I love a difficult woman, you know?
Yes.
Go off.
And at one point she does do a bunch of tequila shots in this film and gets a little wild, and I'm here for it. And yeah, I do really love that movie, to be honest.
I think what you're saying about it's a great sports movie that's also a love story, I think it's a tremendous segue. However, really quickly, before we segue.
Yes, go ahead.
Speaking of hockey, have either of you seen Glory?
No.
Glory?
It's a Disney movie about...
Oh, is that about the Miracle on Ice?
Yes. Or no, it's not called Glory. It's called Miracle, excuse me.
Yes, Miracle. I remember that coming out. I didn't see it.
With Ken Russell. Or fucking Kurt Russell. Jesus, what happened to my brain?
If it was Ken Russell, that'd be a freaky ass hockey movie.
This is embarrassing. No, the Kurt Russell movie Miracle, not the Ken Russell movie Glory. Which I believe is a Civil War film starring Matthew Broderick and Denzel Washington. Not a sports movie.
You guys ever see Hustle? You guys ever see Hustle?
Yeah, Hustle was good.
Sandler?
Hustle was good.
Yeah, I really liked that one.
I don't think I've
actually,
seen that.
Isn't that a basketball movie?
Yeah, second favorite Adam Sandler basketball movie.
Which is the first one?
Uncut Gems. Got your ass.
No, I was about to say, yeah.
Sports adjacent film.
Sports.
The sports adjacent film.
Sports.
Wow.
What were you saying about Miracle, Mick?
I was saying that I love Glory.
Good. Well.
Good segue, Alexis.
Alexis
I'm just going to shut the fuck up now.
Perfect segue that we fucking just zoomed
right past.
Why are we talking about sports movies that have to do with love?
Well, that is because today's film is the 2000 romantic sports drama classic, Love and Basketball, directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood and starring Sanaa Lathan and Omar Epps. I'm now going to read the description. Monica, Sanaa Lathan, and Quincy, Omar Epps, are two childhood friends who both aspire to be professional basketball players. Quincy, whose father Zeke, Dennis Haysbert, plays for the Los Angeles Clippers, is a natural talent and a born leader. Monica is ferociously competitive, but sometimes becomes overly emotional on the court. Okay.
Boo.
Okay, Google, editorializing a little. Over the years, the two began to fall for each other, but their separate paths to basketball stardom threatened to pull them apart.
And produced by Spike Lee.
Yeah. So... this is a movie that I had definitely heard of.
I had not heard of it.
I had never seen. Alexis, had you seen this before?
No, and both of my sisters were like, "You've never seen that movie before, Alexis? Boo on you."
Yeah, I think it was kind of like a, younger millennial, older Gen Z kind of romance classic. Sorry?
It's a 2000s film. Don't you mean like younger Gen X, older millennial?
Maybe. I think that, I'm ultimately just a little young to, have seen it, as opposed to maybe a couple.
Why do you come for us in our age?
Because it's all I have.
You're at the high end of Gen Z, Zach. You're going to be dethroned by Gen Alpha soon enough.
Listen,
just wait your turn.
That's why I have to. It's why I have to antagonize you guys, because I can feel the years creeping up on me. I can feel them. Anyways.
First of all, I'm in great shape, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, what did we all think of our first viewing of Love and Basketball?
Love and Basketball was, I had a good time with it. I thought it was pretty good.
Alexis?
I think that the movie overall was good. I felt kind of connected to the mother-daughter relationship moment that they had at the end. But
in the kitchen?
Quincy, I fucking don't like that guy. He can eat shit. I know they end up together at the end, but fuck him.
Okay, but I want to investigate that, because I think Quincy, during the final basketball one-on-one they had, I was kind of with him. Of like, you spring this on me like 2 weeks before my engagement. Real quick, not a cool thing.
I kind of loved this movie. I started this at like midnight, and I was like, oh, I'm probably going to have to finish this tomorrow. Was fully awake, watched the whole thing. I think that I quite like Quincy and Monica's relationship because the flaws there feel very honest and true to life. And I think that Quincy, like, obviously the movie is more focused on Monica because this is a movie that's pretty indebted to Gina Prince-Bythewood's experience. She was a collegiate athlete.
Yeah.
But I think there's a really interesting arc going on kind of in the background of this movie of Quincy kind of contending with the expectations of masculinity put on him from a young age and kind of starting to realize that that's stuff that's not really who he is. And you see that expressed in how they interact in their relationship. And their breakup feels very, very true to me.
I will say,
I really liked it.
What was interesting about the movie, I do agree with you that I think the relationship feels real. Like, I bought everything about it. When it inevitably goes sour, what causes it, when he's acting out and making poor choices after he learns about a certain something that happened to his dad, who he very much trusted and looked up to up until the moment. We don't need
to be coy about this. We're talking about the movie.
I know, but it's a
2000s movie.
There was something in the movie that I related to at a personal level, which is why I'm keeping this part vague.
Okay.
Yeah. So I very much related to him in his like, oh shit moment with his family. And when he learns of this, it's nothing that he does wrong in his own relationship, but it causes him to make poor choices. And I like how later in the movie, fast forward during the fourth quarter, because the movie is divided into three quarters like a basketball game. The fourth quarter is like a basketball game.
This movie.
Yeah.
It's got the juice.
The fourth quarter, she comes back and they're rekindling. It's been like 5 or 6 years have gone by. You know, she's playing in Barcelona. He is he's not a starting player, but he's in the Lakers.
He's riding the bench on the Lakers, essentially.
And she apologizes to him for saying, you know what, I just wasn't available enough for you. And when she said that, I shook my head like, girl, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, don't fucking apologize. You have nothing to apologize for. You literally had so much writing on your game. Yeah, you should have focused on your game. And I like how he kind of...
Fuck that guy.
No, I like how he kind of, in that moment, if you recall, he kind of goes, like, look, I did that because of what happened with my dad. Like, I was, like, self-destructing.
Yeah.
He in a way, he kind of admits, like, girl, you did nothing wrong. That was all me. And he's absolutely right. He allowed this world-shattering event with his family make him kind of self-implode and kind of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And he kind of admits to that in the end. And I really liked that he didn't let her really apologize for it because she had nothing to apologize for. Of course she should have taken her game seriously.
Although, I will say, I think that the dynamic in their relationship is very interesting and kind of not something that you see a lot in movies, in that he is, in a lot of cases, the more, like, emotionally open one at points. And she is kind of, like, she is in the driver's seat of that relationship for a lot of the movie. Yeah. Like, she initiates their first, like, sexual encounter. She's the one who, like, wants him back and goes to get him back. And, like, you know, I think in a lot of rom-coms, you see, you know, the guy has to, we were just talking about The Wedding Singer, like, the guy has got to go to the woman at the end of the movie. And I don't know, I think there's some, like, interesting flips of gender roles and, like, looking at how gendered expectations affect both of these characters and their relationship.
Yeah, but in The Wedding Singer, he fucking pushes Julia away, and then she ends up going to get married because he pushes her away at a pivotal moment, and that's why he has to go back and get her. Quincy is the one who pushed her away, and then he's like, you spring this on me like 5 years later. I'm like, yeah, because you fucking broke up with her during, like, you know, here's the thing, is that he grew up with a dad that was in professional basketball. She doesn't even have a professional league to go into, so her only option in playing college ball is to go international.
Yes.
And to basically like be away from her family. So there's a lot more writing on her being in a game than there is for him. And for him to accuse her of being fucking selfish because she has a curfew and she wants to make sure that she's able to be a starting point, I was so fucking offended on her behalf, because I was like, oh, so as long as it's about you, that's totally fine, you know? But when you're not seeing the fact that she has so much more to lose than you do. If you miss a game, you still have a name and a fucking like league of other teams to fucking go to, you know? Like, fuck you. Okay, and the fact that he did that in the most disrespectful way, he was playing with her. He literally brings another girl to his fucking dorm and is like, I'm going to go out to eat with her. Doesn't even tell her. Like, obviously it was very childish, and I get it. They're in college, in like very early college and stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, sure, I can give some leeway. But he basically, and even when they play the game at the very end, this pissed me off. He basically clowned her for a few points and then lets her walk away like she's fucking like humiliated, and then tells her
hugely disagree about the game, because why do they love each other? Because they're both so fucking competitive. If he had like let her win the game, that's not what they love about each other. They love the fact that both of them have this fucking drive and they've connected over this thing. Yeah. So if he's just
I will give you that concession.
He's not clowning her on the first few points. He's fucking limping from an injury.
Yeah,
like,
he had a torn ACL.
Yeah, he has a torn ACL and he has to like pop his goddamn brace off. Like, no, I meant
hugely
like disagree.
I meant when he was dunked on her the last few points towards the end of the first game, when he actually won. That part, when he got really competitive. And you know what? I'll give you that concession.
That's what they love about each other.
That's true. But I am not her. You would not catch me ever fucking going back for somebody that fucking humiliated me like that in front of other fucking people. No. Absolutely fucking not. You should have heard me. I was watching this movie in the front room and I literally was like yelling at the TV like, no, fuck you, man. Fuck you. Yeah, and I walked away. I paused it and I walked away. I was so angry.
I want to rewind. So I understand. Yes, he fucked up.
I'm not saying he's making good decisions. He
absolutely fucked up. But
he's being a piece of shit a little bit.
But the thing is, though, is that his fucking heart was broken. Like, I totally feel for the guy, because I don't condone what he did. I 1000% condone his feelings with his dad. So also, when he takes the girl and is showing off on these cheap dates, is what they call it, brings in this girl, right? Super inappropriate, not cool, dude. And when she brings him to task on it, he basically admits, like, yeah, like, what do I got to do for you to lose interest in me? He breaks up with her so that she can just do her own thing and that he can do his own thing. He's not trying to hold her back with her own aspirations and dreams. He's just being like, there's too much happening right now. He can't eloquently say that I'm not good for you right now, but that's what he's doing. That is the effect of his actions. They're not good actions, but I see where he's coming from.
That she was selfish for not choosing him first, basically.
Yeah, but he later in the end of the movie basically says he was full of shit.
And I can
That's great. I love it. Hindsight's 20/20. You know, not everybody gets those opportunities to see each other again after like 5 years.
It's a movie though. It's about like them both growing. Like,
sure.
I
didn't love it. I didn't love it, and I'm not gonna love it. The more that we argue about it, that's exactly how I feel.
I think
it's exactly how I feel. Fuck that guy.
Very compelled by that relationship. I think it's very nuanced, and I think that some of that nuance is being ignored. I think we're railroading him a little.
Yeah, okay, Alexa, I have to ask, what do you feel about how his world was destroyed by his own father, basically, and his own mistakes? Like, how did you feel about that?
How do I feel about his father?
No. How do you feel? Like, I want to hear, like, do you kind of see where he's coming from, though?
Of course I can see why he was short-circuiting. It's just that
it's just not appropriate. Full stop.
He took his bad feelings out on his partner, and I hate it when I see people do that, even in movies, especially if we're going to romanticize a relationship later on.
Right.
And to be honest, this is just a personal thing. I wouldn't forgive somebody who did that to me. And you know what? Maybe she's a bigger person. I wouldn't, but good for her. She's happy now, and I'm happy for her to be able to be in the WNBA, because that didn't happen until 1996, 1997, which is obviously what the end of the movie is her being able to get into the league at the end, finally having a National American League.
I want to talk about that a little bit, because last night I watched this documentary called Women of Troy. I low-key got, because I didn't realize how late the WNBA came about.
Neither did I. I had to look it up during the movie.
Yeah, that was, shocking to me.
When was it?
It came out,
1996, 1997.
Yeah,
so
the first season
created it
was...
96. They had the first season, 97.
97.
I am older than the WNBA.
Yeah, the WNBA is only a year older than me.
Wow.
It is bananas.
Yeah.
And this documentary, Women of Troy, was about this really dominant class of USC women's basketball players. They won because essentially Title IX compelled schools to have women's sports as well. So there were finally all of these big women's basketball programs, and USC won the first two NCAA championships, I think. And I found it very compelling and very sad to, see these incredible athletes who essentially their only recourse to do the thing that they're incredible at is to go overseas because they're not fucking respected here. And some of these women who were on this USC team, started to become genuine national celebrities. The big one was Cheryl Miller, who was Reggie Miller's sister, who won 2 NCAA championships and a gold medal at the '84 Olympics, and then unfortunately injured her ACL and could never play again. Just the injustice of this thing not fucking existing, there being no outlet. And you look at it even now and it's ultimately basketball is kind of the one sport that sort of has a women's league with some national recognition, and it still isn't fucking respected. The highest salary in the WNBA, I think, is something like $215,000 a year. Do you know what the minimum? Yeah, you know what the minimum salary in the NBA is?
I don't want to fucking know. It's going to make me even more fucking angry.
Just shy of $1 million. And I do think that is something that Gina Prince-Bythewood said completely changed the end of the movie, because she was writing this movie during the years where the WNBA came to be, and when she started, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
I think that what we touched on a little bit in talking about the relationship is it is really interesting to have these two characters who have the same passion, but the stakes and the ceiling of their ambition are completely different, and ultimately the person who wants it more is the one who will gain less from it.
Quincy's was finite. As it turned out.
Yeah, Quincy ultimately is interested in basketball because he's been told that he should be.
Right, from his dad. Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of...
Go ahead.
It just reminded me of Ricky and Boys in the Hood, of the whole, like, you only carried that football around because his daddy gave it to him, and then you see him following this kind of football thing as a way of getting out of, this urban setting. And I don't know. It seemed to me like maybe this was just like his way of trying to get like noticed maybe by his father. Because like the movie is so about that, about fathers, the father who is around and then the fathers that are not around. Yeah.
I
really
will say,
enjoyed sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of Boys in the Hood, actually, the father, Zeke, played by Dennis Haysbert. Are you in good hands? He reminded me a lot of Lawrence Fishburne, Furious, in terms of, I like how, he's like, I can't do that shit. He's a kid. He's like, hey, what did I tell you about using that word? Can't.
Yeah.
Like, that should not be in your vocabulary. Also, don't say shit. I did like his, even though he was picking a career for him in a way, he also wasn't, because he kept telling Quincy, please don't just drop out and try to go pro. Get an education, please. Please get an education. You need to get an education. And I like how he had the positive reinforcement. I like he always believed in his son. I even like the talk that he gives them at the end, when they're not getting along. I did enjoy that relationship. Obviously, the father had his own problems that he needed to work out, which is at the crux of a lot of what we're talking about. But I really did enjoy that dynamic. But I will say, to go back to the relationship really quickly, here's one thing that I didn't love about it, actually. Okay. I might kick this over to Alexis's side a little.
You can't kick a basketball, man.
You can.
Pass it. Pass it over to Alexis's side.
I'll probably get ejected by the refs, man. But I'm gonna pass the ball over.
There we go.
To Alexis here. And what I kind of didn't like about it was, I don't like that they ended up together.
Interesting.
I don't like it.
I did.
Because here's why. I thought that Monica's trajectory of going pro, she couldn't find anyone in Barcelona. There wasn't anyone that really floated her boat, boyfriend wise. And she comes back, and I was afraid that when Quincy and Monica meet again in the hospital after he's torn his ACL, that they were going to rekindle their relationship. Because I liked that they had separated and gone their way. I like a story where you have a very good, strong relationship that just kind of runs its course, and then they go their separate ways. I think that I'm not saying that's my preferred way of a relationship, obviously not, but I think that's a story that I enjoy being told in film sometimes. Like, one of my favorites of that is Annie Hall. I love that they end up ending it amicably, and the last shot of that movie is them talking, hugging after years of having broken up, and then just walking away in different directions from the camera. Like, it's cool that relationships end like that, but when the fiance shows up and
Tyra Banks,
yeah.
This movie has such a fucking stacked
huge cast. I was oh, thank God he's in a relationship, so this isn't going to have that kind of like, kind of cliche happy Valentine's Day type ending. But then it does give us that.
It's what I wanted. I wanted the love and the basketball to intersect again, and it did. I was like, I see the love and I see the basketball, but how are they going to come together? And I love how they set that up with the game of like strip basketball that they're playing in the dorm.
I was hoping that, the thing was, I liked that scene because, he's like, look, how do you come to me 2 weeks before I get married and say this? And I was with him. I was like, yeah, this is kind of a weird thing to spring on a guy or a person. Doesn't matter what gender, what doesn't matter. And then they do this game that he clearly doesn't want to do. He's like, fuck, all right, Jesus Christ, this is fucking weird. Yeah, let's do it. Fine. And I was hoping that it would just end with them like getting competitive, seeing that they still had that connection, realizing that there is something special still there, but that they don't end up together, and that's okay. I was kind of hoping that that's where it was going to go, because otherwise it felt a little cliche, a little, I don't know,
I mean,
big present with a bow.
I was a little disappointed in Quincy. I mean, he didn't stand his ground for her.
We are getting an earthquake right now, folks.
Wait, what?
Wow. We just got an earthquake.
Yeah, we just got like a big earthquake.
Damn.
Shut up, really?
Yeah, that was like the most noticeable earthquake I've ever experienced.
All right.
Yeah,
Hold
our
on,
like
folks.
whole room shook.
Let's hold that. Let's hold that in. Let's put that in the episode. Just want to make sure any aftershock here.
Wow.
So anyways, love and basketball. It was really good. Okay, I really liked it. I'm gonna go hide under that doorway.
Oh my god.
See, that's the earth is shifting with the power of love in this film.
Oh my god.
It's tectonic.
Could fucking kill me. This discussion is going to be my 13th reason why.
Okay, Alexis, if we may.
So I was disappointed in that because I kind of hate the whole, like, there's competition and they have to, like, eradicate the competition. I just, like, hate the concept of, like, having to compete for a man's heart. I think that it's dishonest and I don't like it when it comes up in films, and I especially don't like it because, like, to me, I'm like, sure, maybe he doesn't belong with that other girl, sure, maybe he does belong with her, but I think that he should come to that himself and realize that he doesn't just want, like, an easy relationship like maybe what he might have with this woman. And he does want what is more challenging, but maybe what's more worthwhile. And I think that it's more important that he would have arrived to that himself. And I get it. Like, I really do love her trajectory and I love her strength and her fight as a character. I fucking hated it when her mother was like, yeah, I did think that he deserved better. And I think that what he deserved more is you. And I was like, I would never tell my daughter that. I would never have her go and fucking grovel for a man's attention after he let her go.
I wanted to actually kick it to that because, Alexis, you mentioned before not that you enjoyed, but you found the dynamic between the mother and Monica interesting. And I also
it was great.
I also teared up during it. So I wanted to, that's partly what I really liked about this movie is the feminine perspective and also just the discussion of femininity, her growing up and the approval or lack thereof that she gets from her mother, played wonderfully by Viola Davis.
No, that's not Viola Davis.
Who is it?
It's not Viola Davis.
That's Alfre Woodard.
Oh, really?
I love
although
her.
I did also watch The Woman King, directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood, starring Viola Davis, which also is concerned with the relationships between mothers and daughters and kind of legacy and finding your place in the world, which she's got her interests as a filmmaker.
Yeah. But Alexis, let's talk a little bit about the that relationship between mother and daughter, because I thought that was really well done in the film.
Yeah, to be honest, the relationship between Quincy and his father, and then the relationship between Monica and her mother, are two parallel and opposing sides that I think work really well together in the movie, and I think that Gina really wrote those pieces of this film like really well. Like, so whatever I say about the love story, I think that what she had to say about the expectations that our parents put on us, or that we perceive that they're putting on us, and how they shape and change us over time. I really loved how her mother was saying that, of course I had dreams, but I put them on hold when I had kids, and then I had you, and I continued to put them on hold, but then I figured out how to be basically how to be satisfied and how to be happy with, this being my new dream, with my family being my new dream. And it's a feminine limitation that has happened so many times, over history, such a similar story of I had dreams, I put them on hold, and I shifted my life to compensate for a new dream that came through my life, whatever, right? But I love that it's so real because what she loves best about her daughter, her fight, is also the thing that you assume is what she likes least about her daughter for the majority of the movie.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's what's really real about it is those things that you think that your parents don't like about you sometimes are the things that they do like about you because they're things that they don't see in themselves or that, they maybe don't have either the courage or, they're complacent, in where they are,
She admitted to jealousy of her own daughter. Yeah, she even said that.
Which, if you can imagine, like, how you look at the way the mom acts in the beginning, maybe that jealousy is kind of where you see a little bit of that friction coming from, and that really, it hurt me inside when the mom said that, you didn't really want me around. You didn't need me to go to those games. And she's like, but I did. I swear to God, my mom was literally standing right next to me when they were talking about that. And she said, well, she probably didn't know. That's not her fault that she just didn't know her daughter wanted her around, and then walked away. And I was like,
walked away, bruh.
And I was like, wow, you can't write content like this.
We're talking about you. Man, she just doesn't even get us, man.
I want to dig into the notion of the mom kind of giving up on her dreams. And I think part of why I like that Monica and Quincy end up together at the end is sort of what Gina Prince-Bythewood, I think, was intending for this movie. I read a couple of years ago, I think they did an oral history of Love and Basketball where the Huffington Post interviewed, like, a whole bunch of people involved with this movie, including Gina Prince-Bythewood. And the article concludes with this quote from Gina that's, it's interesting that having it all is considered a feminist mantra, but for me, it was just natural, and it definitely had to do with growing up in sports and what that teaches you. To fight for what you want, to leave it all on the floor, and that aggression is good. That's just what I've embodied, and it's natural for me to want the marriage and the career and the kids. It's natural for me, it's normal for me, and that's what I wanted to do to make it normal. It's frightening that even today we're having the same conversations and it makes no sense. If the work that I put out in the world can counter that mentality, let me be out there contradicting that because it's bullshit.
Wow.
That's hard as fuck.
No, I'm so sorry. I'm literally going to cry.
Yeah. Why are you taking my phone away?
So I want to read that.
Yeah, it's the last one. Swipe one more.
You guys just keep talking.
Yeah, I think that the other thing that she's talked about with this movie that I find very inspiring and want to touch on since we are discussing this movie during Black Cinema Month. Mick, I'm going to need the phone back. I have a quote I'm going to read. Give it back. Give me the phone back. Read it later. God damn you. Give me my phone.
That was a good quote.
Anyways, so there's she's kind of talked about how this movie got marketed and kind of discussed as a quote-unquote black film, and how she kind of pushes back on that because she says, I get as many white folks as black folks coming up to me and talking to me about the film. That people of all races were able to see this love story and embrace it, not as a black film, but as a love story first. That's what's so important and what's so neat. There's such a segregation in the film industry that seems to have gotten worse in terms of when a film comes out with black leads, it's immediately called a black film and marketed the same way every time.
Right.
As opposed to realizing that if you just make a good movie in any genre, if it's a good movie and you put it in front of them, people will come. And I think that's from the two movies of hers. She's made 5 films, I believe. Mm-hmm. From the 2 movies of hers that I've seen, she seems just like such a fucking like old school Hollywood director in terms of the kinds of movies that she wants to make. Because we can talk about how the ending of this movie might be cliche and how we might not all love the love story in this, but this is like a classic Hollywood love story. And when I was watching The Woman King, I was like, this is just a big fucking action epic. I really...
Did she do that one too?
Yes, I really like her as a filmmaker.
Yeah, for everything that I have said about this film, I love the way that it ends because I do love that she never had to choose she never had to compromise on what she wanted in her life, which was a love, a family, but most of all, her fucking accolades for the sport that she loved.
Most of all, fucking basketball.
Yeah.
So the fact that she gets all of that at the end of the film, I really loved that. You know, I don't fucking love Quincy, but I don't have to love people's fucking relationships to be happy for them and where they end up in their lives. Yeah. So
see, I would be much angrier at Quincy if the sabotage actually affected her in any significant way in terms of her dreams, but it doesn't. So yeah, it's a hiccup, but nothing more than that.
I think that it's like. I like that, you know, we see the effect of like, yeah, she's getting to play the sport that she loves, but because of the way women's basketball is structured at this time, she's still having to compromise herself. She's, you know, cut off from the people that she loves, not just Quincy, you know, her family and her friends. In, you know, this place, she doesn't have the love and the basketball. And you gotta have the love and the basketball together.
And the basketball. Okay, Gina, so I have not seen The Woman King, but I have seen The Secret Life of Bees with Dakota Fanning, Queen Latifah, Alicia Keys, and I cannot remember
Did she do that one too?
The other female lead was.
Oh, I saw that when I was a kid, and I really loved it.
That's a really good movie. Film. I think that what she has to say about love and family in that, like, every single time I watch that movie... Zach, you haven't seen it. Mick, you have seen it. Zach, I don't know if you'll ever watch it, so I feel fine letting you know what happens at the end.
I think I'm gonna watch it. The 2 movies of Gina Prince-Bythewood I've seen, I've really fucked with, but that's okay.
So the relationship between Dakota Fanning and her father is something that is kind of like, you know, in the foreground, background, whatever you want to call it. It's underneath what the rest of the story, which is when she runs away to go and she ends up living with Queen Latifah's character, and basically in a house full of, you know, kind of matriarchal figures, and finding a way to finally love herself and forgive herself for what happened to her mother. And the conversation that she has with her father at the end of the film literally always has me in fucking pieces, because it really goes to show that hurt people, you know, and, you know, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's just like, it's a movie that's kind of about like generational trauma as well as, you know, the trauma of the times, which I think they still had Jim Crow segregation maybe going on at the time, or at the very least, maybe it was like the tail end of that. 'Cause what was that? Was that the 60s?
When the movie takes
place? The Secret Life of Bees?
I thought that was a contemporary movie, but I could be wrong.
It's not contemporary.
Okay, well then I guess I'm wrong.
I can't speak on this because I haven't seen it.
Anyways, it's a really good movie. I really love it. I love that Alicia Keys is in it, and Queen Latifah is fucking literally a queen, so she's always fucking phenomenal in it.
Nice.
Yeah, you should definitely watch it. It's a good one of her movies. I definitely need to see The Woman King.
Yeah, I didn't like The Woman King quite as much as I like Love and Basketball, but it's like a fucking really solid Hollywood epic. And I personally, if it was me and there was a tribe of women that was, you know, led, their military force was led by Viola Davis, I just wouldn't, like, mess with them. I would be scared. Yeah. And I would leave them alone because she has a steely intensity that you don't really want to mess with.
You know what I really liked in this movie was when... So first of all, when you first meet Monica, it's played to be, she's a kid. It's when her and Quincy meet for the first time. They're both like 8 years old, maybe 9 years old?
I think 11.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like
Monica
that. Monica
had just moved in across, as, you know, like next door to Quincy, and they become neighbors. And kind of throughout the whole film, it's very sweet. They can literally see each other's bedrooms from their windows. And they'll, usually when Quincy's family is arguing, he'll
go sleep on her floor.
He'll go sleep on her floor, and it's really sweet. It's a really lovely story.
Yeah, because they don't say anything.
No, and they don't have to. But one one moment I thought that was really cute was when they were kids and suddenly Quincy, you know, as you do when you're at that like 10, 11-year-old age where, you know, sexuality isn't happening yet, but you can develop crushes on someone else.
Yeah.
And so he realizes, you know what? Like, I think we should be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, after, like, that basketball game.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. And he's like, okay, well, then
we should kiss.
And she's like, how long? And he's like, I don't know, 5 seconds? And so it's like, here? We're like, oh, no, we can go do it over there. And so they kiss, and he literally counts on his hand in the most unromantic way to 5. And then the kiss ends, and then they go back out like, okay, well, hey, well, since you're my girl, like, I should, like, give you a ride on my bike because my mom always is given a ride by my dad.
I think that's like, it's a good moment of, like, learned misogyny.
Yeah, I don't have to do what you say. And then he's like, well,
she's like, I have my own bike.
Yeah, and then he basically calls her ugly and ratchet, pushes her, and then she pushes him, and before you know it, they're just fighting each other, and she's pile driving his head into the grass.
Yeah, and then
like,
you just cut to second quarter.
Yeah, I thought that whole moment was cute because I remember being that age, and when you develop a crush on someone, it can like very quickly just devolve into a wrestling match. Yeah. That's just like them trying to hit each other in the jungle gym.
I was actually not considered cute at that age by people that I was in classes with, so I never experienced any sort of wrestling or fun things that people would have experienced at that age for that. But I'm happy for you, Mick. I'm glad you were cute at that age.
I had a girl just fucking stick my face right into the ground once telling me I was a dirtbag. Hell yeah.
And that was formative. I sensed that was formative. I also like in that scene...
That, in context... explains a lot.
Yes, it does.
I also like it.
I remember thinking as I was watching that scene, I was like, young love.
There it is.
Young love. Man.
I also really like in that scene where he like calls her stupid, and she goes, "You're stupid, and your daddy plays for the worst team in the NBA."
I literally went, oh, like outside because
that was
she's right.
Funny.
Clippers were, or there was the Lakers, right?
No, it was the Clippers.
It was the Clippers. The Clippers were not good.
Yeah, it was right when the Clippers moved to LA.
I love that her hero is Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
That's tight.
I also...
That's a good pick,
Monica. Since we're talking about basketball, and my dad did play college basketball,
that makes sense. You're both very tall.
Yeah. I need to comment on why he enjoys watching the WNBA more than the NBA.
Okay.
I felt like I needed to get that perspective from him because he's talked about this a lot. And his comment was, there's less dunking and three-point shots in the WNBA, so it is a more pure form of basketball.
It's because it's mostly layups?
Yeah, because, I mean, women are shorter, so there's less, ability to dunk in the WNBA.
See, as a fan... I love a good 3-pointer or a good dunk.
Yeah, my dad.
You love the spectacle of it.
Yeah, and my dad wants to see good fundamental basketball.
I also love good passing.
You mean like the actual original teams, right? Because the original teams were like Italian and like Jewish guys, right? They're shorter.
I think that he.
If that's true,
I swear to God, I feel like I've seen historical photos from like the 20s or 30s of like. I don't
think 20s and 30s because my dad came up as a fan
of like a movie? Can there just be a basketball movie with Jews and Italians? Because that would be hilarious.
Basketball was, it wasn't always intended to be a tall people sport, but over time, obviously, that's what it became. Yeah. Because you can do those moves easier by being taller.
They instituted
but when they first created the rules, it was all shorter people. So to play. Yeah, anyways, fuck you guys.
No.
I would say about 50% of Alexis's insight on the show ends with,
fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. And, it's something that we need to hear. I do recognize.
If we ever, listeners, if we ever create merch, which we hope to do, one of them is going to be a t-shirt that's just going to say, you know what? Fuck you guys. Alexis, if you can.
Yeah, it'll be a picture of Mick and I's face, and then in big red letters over us, fuck you guys.
Yeah. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. So,
but I really enjoyed Monica's quote unquote glow up too. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool scene where her and her sister are bonding, and her sister's like doing her makeup and all that stuff. Yeah, that was really cool.
That kind of made me sad a little bit.
It made me sad
when
too.
Her mom was like, "Oh, see, you can be pretty." I'm like, "Fuck you, lady."
But also when she said, "You know what?
Yeah,
with all the boys, all the dancing, all of the bullshit tonight, I just want you to think about how beautiful you are." After adorning her neck with a pearl necklace, I was like, "That's kind of sweet."
See that's the double-edged sword of like that mother-daughter relationship, because the mother sees that moment as something that's like really beautiful for her to have given to her daughter.
Yeah.
And I mean, personally, I would have felt like she was telling me like, "Oh, you're finally pretty now that you've done yourself up." You know?
I mean, that's also not a wrong take. That's kind of what's happening.
Yeah, and that like you're assigning me better value because I'm being more feminine, and
more
like
traditionally
I would find that
feminine.
hurtful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, when we were talking about topics, one of my ideas that I was going to pitch is like portrayals of femininity in film.
Yeah.
Because I did enjoy how this movie talked about that, because I think they even used the term tomboy at one point for Monica. And I agree with you, Zach. He was like, "Oh, I found that kind of sad." Like, I did too. I thought it was because I liked it because the sister and her were bonding, and she was also Monica in makeup looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like she looks so beautiful when she goes to that dance.
Well, she's a beautiful woman.
But she already looked
God, her
beautiful.
Fucking arms.
Yeah.
She already looked really beautiful in her own like athletic way, like no bullshit sort of style. So it was like, fuck, man, she's beautiful no matter how she looks.
I would have let her punch me in the face.
I want to talk a little bit about Monica's athleticism, because I read a little bit about the casting process of this movie, and it was super interesting. So this script kind of got moving through being read at the Sundance Script Lab, where Sanaa Lathan read the part of Monica, and then the movie got, picked up by Spike Lee's 4 Acres and a Mule, and was brought to New Line. And Sanaa Lathan wanted the part, but Gina Prince-Bythewood's whole thing was like, I have watched a lot of, sports and women's sports in movies, and it is always embarrassing to me when people look like they can't fucking play. So I need to cast someone who can ball as Monica. And Sanaa Lathan was like, I had never picked up a basketball. I could not dribble. So she, through the casting process, just, kind of hung around and was, training super hard without having the part. And eventually was like, okay, Gina, I know that there are basketball players who you have hired acting coaches for to, read for this part. You need to hire a basketball coach for me. And she pushed herself incredibly hard without having this part so that she would look good playing basketball on screen.
Yeah.
And, she does. She looks like a fucking athlete in this movie. She looks so strong.
She does.
Yeah.
Damn, that first game of strip basketball. Wow. Also for Omar, who plays Quincy,
they look good.
He had a good 8-pack.
I loved fucking Gabrielle Union's little short snippet at the beginning where she's just like, look at that sweat. Like to lick that off his butt cheek or something.
I was like, Alexis wrote this.
Whoa.
I know Alexis wrote this screenplay.
She gives the note for Monica to give to Quincy, and Monica is calling her a hoe, and Quincy's like, okay, just because she knows what she wants, she's a hoe. And then Monica says one of my favorite lines in the movie where she goes, she's a hoe because she's sending her coochie through the mail.
Yeah, that
was
funny.
Made me laugh so hard.
I love that line
when she read that
much.
in the car was a funny scene. Because it also just spoke to just how wonderful their dynamic had blossomed into as they got older. That was really, really cool. But also, speaking of Gabrielle Union, she's married to Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
A
genuine basketball player.
Genuine basketball player.
Oh. You know what, though? Can I Can I have a side note about Regina Hall, who plays the sister? Lena,
Yes.
I think is her name.
Side note away.
So, in the same year, she was also in the movie Scary Movie, which is how she kind of like had her like breakout role, like became really famous kind of for playing Sydney's like black friend in Scary Movie and all the different, you know, like sequels to that.
Yeah.
But she was in this movie called This Christmas that came out like maybe like 10-ish years ago. And in the film, her husband cheats on her, right? Okay. She gets him, she's like, pretends like she's gonna fuck him. He's like, all right, baby, I'm gonna get in the shower. And she's like, all right, baby, sounds great. And she's starting to get redressed while he's getting into the shower. She goes in her mom's room. She gets like a fucking Athena baby oil. She's like, oh, you have baby oil? Okay, great. I'm gonna use this whole bottle. And her mom's like, what? You know? She goes back to the bathroom. She's like talking to him. He's like, where's my car at? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, in the LA River. She's pouring all this baby oil all over the bathroom floor after pulling all the mats out. She has a fucking belt in her hand, right? And then she's like, in the LA River. And then he's like, what are you talking about? He gets out and she's like, come out here, you know? And she's not showing the belt, right? But he comes out, he slips on the fucking baby oil, and then she starts to whoop his ass. And I saw that on TikTok today, and because I was looking at videos on Love and Basketball, but then it showed me this video of the scene from that movie with Regina Hall, and I was like, this is the best thing I have seen all fucking day. I am loving this man getting his fucking ass whooped. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She's like, don't worry, I found myself in New York after I saw you with that fucking hoe. And she's just whipping his ass. It was so fucking funny. And Regina Hall's a queen.
Well, Alexis, thank you so much for that play-by-play. Back to you, Bob.
Oh my god. Don't bring it back.
Is that what you sent me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll have to watch it. I was like, this sounds familiar.
The last thing I want to say on Love and Basketball, just a little detail that I enjoy, is the other moment where the love and the basketball really intersect. It's one of the first ones, and I thought it was very sweet, is after they both go to prom with different people before they sleep together.
Yeah.
Quincy's talking to Monica. They're both talking about how their nights went. She was like, this guy who I went to prom with was like kissing on me, and I was just thinking about how many boards I got in that game. And he goes, 4. You got 4 offensive rebounds because he's paying attention to her game because the love and the basketball are intersecting. Also, that's a very sweet sex scene where he like asks for consent during the middle.
Yeah, that was
checks in on her.
That was really good. Furious jumping.
Oh my god. Anyways.
Well, you know, it is directed by a woman, so.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, though, let's get into it. I love how when he puts a tip in. I'll just say it like that. It's a crass, but it's what happened. She kind of does this where the breath like leaves her because it's a little painful. You know, it's probably the first time.
Yeah, it's her first time, and also maybe his first time.
And he asked, "Do you want me to stop?"
Yeah.
And she just shakes her head like, "No." Like, let's fucking do this. I'm like, it hurts, but I'm liking this. I was like, that was a cool moment that I think is a woman's touch of a guy, like, checking, do you consent to this before we, continue down this road? And I just liked that moment was in there.
I think it's important to show that, as far as his toxic masculinity may flare up at times, he does very much care about her, and that is one of the most important ways that I think in that moment that he can show up as caring for her. Yeah.
So. I also, though, laughed out loud quite hard when it was really sexy. She's, they kiss, and it's like, oh, did she not, like, enjoy that? And she goes up, and she's kind of like, come on. And you know what that means. And then it cuts to black, and then it comes in with this silky R&B song.
The song cracks me up.
And I laughed so hard. I was like, okay, we're going hard in the paint with this 2000s era.
That's a R&B cover of Kate Bush's song, This Woman's Work, which I thought was a very strange choice for that scene.
That's what made it funny.
The R&B song is arguably probably sexier than the original Kate Bush song, but the message of the Kate Bush song has nothing to do with sex.
Yeah.
I was like, you couldn't have gone with some fucking Casey and JoJo. Is that the artist that I'm thinking of from the late 90s?
I would slide some Teddy Pendergrass in there.
Fucking the soundtrack from 2001 Save the Last Dance. You could have chosen any songs from that fucking soundtrack. It would have been perfect for that sex scene.
Really, speaking of soundtrack, though, we've got to talk about this soundtrack of Love and Basketball, because Alexis, you mentioned that this movie was apparently renowned for having absolute bangers in it, and holy shit. This is a stacked. The way when they're at the dance and Quincy's like, man, like the DJ, he fucking brought his game. I was like, that's how I feel about the music supervisor of this film. Everything's a fucking banger.
Yeah,
I was vibing out to every song. I was even. I kid you not. I was Shazamming multiple songs like as the movie was going on. I was like, what is this? I'm adding this to my playlist.
You're so funny.
It was really great music. Fuck yeah! It was a really solid film that I'd somehow never heard of before.
Yeah, I'm surprised you'd never heard of it, because I had definitely heard of Love and Basketball as kind of a sports movie classic.
I'm surprised you had heard of it, because I had definitely not heard of it before.
Well, I heard of it. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
God.
Strike two.
Out of the park right there.
Ball.
Can we be done?
Yeah, I think we should.
Are we about wrapped up on this game? Are we down in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think the buzzer's about to go off.
Yeah.
I've got a few things to...
God, I hate myself.
You did great. You did great.
Hold on, Alexis. It looks like we might be going into overtime here.
Oh, my God.
What's happening over here? Zach Harris here, small forward. Nothing small about this guy, you know what I mean?
No, Coach. Bench me. I don't want to go back in.
So, real quick, everyone who's listening to this episode, go down into the show notes and vote on next month's theme. Because
that's right.
This is the last week where you can do that. We'll be closing submissions before our next episode comes out.
We're all counting on you, listeners.
And as for our next episode,
yes. Yeah, what's gonna wrap up
Zach.
Black Cinema Month for us?
This is gonna make Zach so happy.
What's a movie?
I mean, I'm kind of low-key happy about this, too, because I need to revisit
What's a movie that's kind of about black cinema, but is also kind of just a great film in its own right, with so much to say, so many genre thrills, so many iconic performances and performers.
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm not fucking watching this movie unless it has Keith David in it.
Well, buddy, I got great news for you.
What?
Next week, after solidly almost 2 years of talking about this movie and hyping it up on this podcast, we are finally doing a full main fucking feed episode on Jordan Peele's Nope, a 2022 film starring Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, Brandon Perea, and Steven Yeun. It is my favorite film of the 2020s. It is a film that my two co-hosts worked on, and I cannot fucking wait to get into it. If you are looking for it on streaming services, you can find it on Peacock, and you can also rent it wherever you rent movies, or you can just fucking do the right thing and buy it on Blu-ray, as I did. So,
this is a visual medium, and Mick is pointing to their bookcase.
is pointing at the bookshelf.
Look at the shelf.
Look at Matt pointing at the bookshelf.
The bookshelf full of Blu-rays.
This is the first time we've reviewed a movie that we've worked on, which is kind of exciting. So we're excited to provide some behind-the-scenes insight into how just everyone on this movie is a bastard. They're so mean. They're evil. Everyone's evil.
The only thing that I will say that I will miss about this moment versus going into Nope is that I don't really think there's anything for me to argue with Zach about in that movie. I think we're all going to kind of be somewhat on the same page.
No, that's not true.
And I love yelling at you guys.
That's not true.
Listen, you can yell at Mick.
Here's the thing. That's not strictly speaking true, because I don't love the end of this film. that we're going to be talking about? Nope. But then again, like I said, I've only seen it twice.
Yeah, and I've only seen it God knows how many times.
We'll see what happens on a rewatch. Maybe, again, it's just a curse of working on this film that's ruined it for me. I don't know. But anyways, I'm really excited. And I've also noticed that fucking, like, almost every movie except our first one, these are all LA movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is interesting. Maybe next year we'll try to, take it to a different part of town.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I suggested Eve's Bayou for this week, but ultimately I am glad we talked about Love and Basketball.
This was a good film, especially for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. I've been trying to follow Megan's Black Cinema Challenge, like all the movies that she's been watching. And I really want to watch Daughters of the Dust. That's what Megan
watched,
I think, the last couple days.
Yeah, past and future guest, Megan's World. Yeah. Follow her on social media. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at Film Majors Pod on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. And if you want to shoot us an email, tell us, who's your favorite basketball player? What's your favorite team? Who do you root for? You can email us at filmmajorspod@gmail.com. And with that, I think we can wrap this fucker up.
By golly, folks, thanks for coming to the ballpark. And once again, Uncut Gems is a sports-adjacent film.
It's a sports.
It's adjacent.
Sports.
It's adjacent.
Sports.